It can't get worse than that.
You say that now.
I don't like jinx or anything, but it is a laugh though, to be fair. So
yeah, Alice Baraka in. I'm just calling them Baraka. I've just seen that name, and I've just seen that name.
I can't see him. Oh, there he is. Okay. Black box is not in yet, which is a bit weird.
Good evening everyone and welcome along to FRL. We are here on course on F1 2021. It is F1 and F2 social race around the Belgian Grand Prix circuit of the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. My name of course is James. I'm going to be taking you through the stream for F1 this season going forward, and joining me in the comments as per last night is Mr. ILR Bunty. Bunty, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Looking forward to seeing the second consecutive Belgian race at Spa-Francorchamps. Should be a good watch.
It should be a good watch indeed. Of course, we have got a few new names, familiar faces joining us, of course, here for the F1 F2 social race, and hopefully it's going to be a really good night's worth of action with some brand new faces to obviously show off to you as well coming into tonight. 15 drivers currently within the lobby, including us, myself and Bunty. That makes 17, so still places on the line, and if you have signed up to the social race and you haven't joined, please do join up as soon as possible. We'll be getting underway very shortly indeed. And hopefully it is going to be really interesting to see, of course, how it all unfolds out on track. And last night, Bunty, we saw in F3, F4, we had Jacko and Cassidy battling out for the entirety of the second half of the race. Are we going to see something similar tonight with these guys?
I think Belgian generally can form some DRS trains, and with the drives near the front being quite closely matched. I know Bakra, he's I think 10th in the world on time trial, so he's really put his sweat on for this track. It'll be really interesting to see if anyone can maybe pull away from the DRS train, but I do think he'll be quite close towards the front.
I will be quite close to the front indeed. I'm not sure if you're coming across quite quiet on my end. Hopefully somebody can confirm that in the chat. And good evening to Jane, good evening to Lewis, who are also in the chat. Lovely to see you guys here, of course. Do put your predictions, by the way, in the comment section for what you think is going to happen in qualifying and indeed in the race going forward, and hopefully it is going to be fantastic. See, of course, we have got IFR Jensen, he's just popped into the chat there, and also I think Bar is also in the chat there for the comment section. But Jensen obviously dominated last season. He wrapped up the championship, I think it was in Singapore last season, with mountains of time and mountains of races to spare. Will he be able to try and challenge once again for the title, or do you think somebody could just stop him?
I think Jensen has taken off ABS for this game, so it will be really interesting to see if he can keep up his brilliant start from last season. He's also joined IFR, which I believe is a Danish esport organisation with the likes of Zhao Zhao and Fruitful, I think, are in it. So he's definitely going for bigger and better things. Speaking to him myself, I think he's possibly even aiming for esports challenges, so he's really going to, I think, be aiming at least to be in the top 3, probably win this FRL championship next season.
Yeah, aiming for the big leagues, which is good to see. And of course, IFR, if you're very unfamiliar, I cover a league monthly on a Wednesday called EML, and IFR have actually raced in that league, so I know the team quite well. It's Danish-made, Zhao Zhao, of course, the main protagonist really within the team, and Jensen hopefully going to be trying to challenge in Zhao Zhao's footsteps coming into tonight. No pressure, Jensen. Zhao Zhao did win around here in League of Europe last season, so no pressure whatsoever. But he has got a formidable opponent, I've got to say, in Rocco. Rocco was one of those drivers who was very consistent to the race he actually turned up to last season. He has joined Excel. Excel, a former team, of course, within League of Europe, and a formated team within League of Europe. He, for me, is going to be one of the men to watch.
Yeah, Rocco has always been towards the top end of whatever tier he's been in FRL. He's, I think, started on his debut in F1 and slowly just been fiddling around it is. He's naturally really rapid on controller, and I always expect Rocco to be towards the pinpoint of the field.
He will be indeed. I think we're waiting on Nathan. I've just seen a message in the Discord. Nathan has his game has crashed, and hopefully he'll be rejoining soon indeed. And Nathan is another man I want to come on to and speak to. He is a very inconsistent driver is what I will say, and that's purely because he is around drivers that are much better than him in terms of pace. Here in FRL, however, he's got pretty much what he wanted. He has got a grid where he can probably show off his talent, and he's got bags of it. Won the Chinese race, of course, in League of Europe last season. So he is a man to watch out for, and he's a man with a lot of pace and consistency when he is on fire.
I think I remember watching Nathan back in League of Europe. I think he won China, one of the races, and he's really got the potential to be a really solid driver, but sometimes he is a little inconsistent, so he does, I think, pick and choose his tracks, and it'll just be interesting to see how consistent he is, as I think a few people have left. I think that's Nathan, and maybe even 2 more, as we're down to 15.
Might be a little bit of glitching in the servers, methinks, coming in tonight. Nathan has just joined the lobby. I can see at the bottom who will join and who doesn't. I think the 16 in, we did have 18, I believe, so we are missing another 2 drivers. So if you have disconnected, make sure to restart your game and then join the session. Of course, we're still very early in the F1 game cycle, so there's bound to be a lot of glitches as per last night. If you want to go and watch F3 and F4 social race, you'll see a cracking safety car glitch right at the start of the stream. And that had myself and Bunty in absolute kinks. Hopefully we don't have that tonight, and hopefully the game may have been updated with the maintenance, obviously, that happened yesterday, and hopefully it's going to be really good to see. Zero has just joined me back in as well. I think we're waiting maybe on one more person.
Hennep. I think Hennep, he wants to commentate, apparently. He's in spectator mode, so...
Yeah, he can't commentate. We've already got two perfectly able and willing commentators here, so maybe get out on track.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a driver actually want to commentate rather than race, but, you know, each to their own. He wants to pursue a commentary career, you know, that's up to him.
It is Belgium, though, at the end of the day. It is the longest track on the F1 calendar, so he might be trying to get out of it very early indeed, thinking that he might spin around here, and we saw that in bags full last night in the F3 and F4 social race. But we are about to get going. Short qualifying, of course, 18 minutes and then 22 laps awaiting these guys out on track around at Belgium. 17 drivers that looks like are going to be doing battle. Henny has not managed to select a car in the 30 seconds time slot, so he looks like he's going to be spectating on. But synonymous with this track, of course, 1998 we had the Coulthard-Schumacher incident. Even before that we had the Prost-Mansell incident, I believe, around here. Or it was Prost and Piquet, I should say, around here, where obviously the crash coming through the bus stop chicane. What are we going to see in terms of the on-track action? What we can say for definite, it's dry.
Yeah, just like... Well, I mean, I think I did put it on clear, as Hennep has joined, so hopefully he will pick a car. And I think we're racing on Jake, well, not waiting, but Jake as well will join, so that will put us up to 19, and I think a few dropped out earlier, so it's really good to see pretty good numbers, some really weird picks for cars. T-Hawk, who's been in McLaren and Ferrari in the past, in the Mercedes, that looks pretty odd. Same as Jensen in the Mercedes. Also some newcomers are Ahern, Luke Boy, and Bakra racing the Britain versus rest of the world race. Dark Tuner, I think he's making his debut in FRL as well. Jonah, he's another, and obviously Nathan, and I think that's it. So we've got quite a few new guys here who would just be taking their time probably to get used to all the drivers around them.
Yeah, some relatively new faces towards last season as well. I know Lou joined quite late on, and Flex also joined FRL Parrot. He joined quite late on as well. So, they're still quite consistent. Speldenar, however, is the first man out on track. The Dutchman, of course, in the Alpha Tauri. And the Alpha Tauri, of course, a very nice car to pick on this game. So hopefully we're going to see Speldenar maybe at his quickest. Nathan is the second man out on track, and he could be one of the men to watch in terms of the fastest lap going to be set out on track. But we should see these guys getting used to the curbs, getting used to the throttle inputs as well. So hopefully, and I'll say this now,
Speldenar's spun, and he's lost his front wing.
And that is the first commentator's curse of FRL.
Yeah, he's going to have to be careful here with the rejoin, but I think just ahead. But yeah, that was not ideal. That curve is absolutely treacherous around Belgium. There's so many curves around Belgium which are dodgy, but I think he picked the worst moment there to commentator curse him just before the awful. I think that's turn 5 possibly.
Yeah, that was on the entrance into Le Combe, so that's where he actually lost it. He caught too much of the curb, and that's what we were meaning. If you catch too much of the curb on this game, anywhere really out on track, you're bound to try and spin the car, and you're bound to end up into a spin, and you'll lose your front wing as a result. Nathan is the first man then out on track, and Nathan, he won the Chinese Grand Prix as we alluded to earlier on. There is a bit of lag, that is his normal lag settings, as Jensen has left the session, so hopefully he'll be able to rejoin out there on track. But Nathan is the first man to come around Stavelot. I'm intrigued to see what he can show here tonight.
Yeah, it will be very exciting to see whether he is in that kind of top 3 area where like the likes of Baccarat, Blackbox, Jensen are. So I imagine he will be competitive, fighting for a podium, but you know, with commentators' curses and other things, with damage being on, unlike yesterday, I think nothing's for like confirmed, I would say.
Yeah, nothing for the faint-hearted out on track as Nathan now runs down in towards the La Source hairpin at turn 1. He begins then on a lap through the La Source hairpin at turn 1, passing the GT3 pit lane on the right-hand side on the run down in towards the Rouge, of course, and Radion. Yellow flags in Sector 3, don't worry about that at all. Drivers just preparing up for their laps as Nathan now runs up a Rouge and Radion. The top of Radion, he just had to feather off the throttle slightly. He'll gain 200 miles an hour on the run down in towards Le Combe. Turns 5, 6 and 7 awaiting him now out on track as he comes towards the end of the first sector split, and after 30 flat through the first sector, we should be seeing sub 29s, I would say, through the first sector as we go on throughout tonight. Nathan through in towards Bruxelles next corner up on track. This is turn 8, and then coming through No Name at turn 9. There's already a spinner out on track. I think it's an Alfa Tauri, an Alfa Romeo I should say, that is round, so I'm not sure who that might be. That might be El Luki Boy, who's at the session. Zeba was also at the session, it seems, on the run down in towards Bruxelles, but Nathan coming through Pouon, looking very nice indeed. Of course, he is in the Williams. I think he's in George Russell's car, if I'm not mistaken as well. So Nathan now coming through in towards the Campos section, through the Fagnes chicane, and then in towards the Campos section, and then in towards Stavelot to end off the end of the middle sector. Nathan 113.1 through the middle sector, exactly where he wants to be in terms of a lap time so far. Runs wide, however, coming through Stavelot, and if you just put one wheel like he has done, you run wide and you pick up an invalidation, but we'll continue to ride on board with this lap nonetheless. Nathan now comes through Blanchimont, and I would think this will be around the 141 mark as he just ducks under about 10 seconds just before the braking point. It's about 10 seconds from the bus stop chicane all the way to the line, and Nathan, it would have been a 141 to begin off the night, a 141.271 it would have been from Nathan. Still a competitive lap though, and it just comes to show what he can actually do.
Yeah, I think the first one to set a valid lap time will be David, who's going to set the pace with a 42.5, and I don't, as T-Hawk on medium, just following on behind. Rocco blitzes that, and I think that's the difference here between F1 and F2. There's quite a steep gap between the two tiers, but I would expect Nathan, I think, to be probably around Lou and Rocco. Are separated by almost nothing there. So it will be really interesting once he does set a valid lap time, just to see where he falls in.
Yeah, I think Nathan would have been second with his lap time, if I'm not mistaken, and the top 3 would have been covered by 400ths of a second. They are covered by 400ths of a second. Rocco and Lou, of course, the first 2 men out on track in terms of the times that have been set so far. Black Box is coming into the pit lane. He's in the Alpine tonight as he comes back into the pit lane. Of course, won a few races last season, I should say, here in FRL, and Black Box might be one to watch out for. Nathan is not on a lap, I don't think, if I'm not mistaken. He's running a very high 8th gear as he now comes through. I think I've got a revving glitch possibly there, so we'll just come off that. Speldenar is back out on that lap. He's just about to begin a lap, but top 6 guys separated by about 2 seconds. T-Hawk obviously on a set of mediums as well. Parrot with a 142.6. As the track gets a lot quicker though, as we go on through the session, the lap times will begin to tumble.
Yeah, they certainly, the thing with clear weather, probably not as much maybe if you had it as dynamic, but as the track slowly warms up and with also the tyre marks just bedding into the track, people just find a little bit more grip, especially at corners like the bus stop chicane Nathan's going through. It is so low speed, you can just, if you the throttle a little bit too fast, that back end can just step out on you, and you definitely don't want to be doing that when you're making your run up to the line.
Yeah, definitely not. One ball with Spelden. He's on the run down in towards Bruxelles. Not looking too bad, actually, through the first sector. I think you were lagging slightly there, by the way, Bunty, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully your internet might just sort itself out. Spelden on the run down in towards Pouon. Of course, Pouon being the next left-hander out on track. Not looking as quick as Nathan through here, I've got to say. Not looking as quick as Rocco. But Spelden are certainly on a consistent lap as he now comes in toward the Vanya chicane. No sound glitch again, like as per last night, which is great. Spell now, though, on the run in towards the Stavilo section, and through Campus, I should say, in towards Stavilo to 113.8, but yet again, another driver that actually invalidates you. You can see with the steering inputs just coming out of Stavilo there, he's definitely on a wheel, because he did not like that one bit, that invalidation.
Yeah, I mean, there's happy weaves, and then there's just annoyed weaves, and that's definitely one of them. The AlphaTauri, he's in 7th, hasn't set a lap time. I don't think he has enough fuel with a little icon in the bottom right popping up, so yeah, he's probably going to go and pit. He might just about have enough time for 2 runs, but that goes back to the point. I think Belgium is the longest track on the calendar, with Baku just being second in that regard. But so there's I guess a lot of time to make up, but then again, it all depends on your setup, whether you go a little bit more pointy in a straight line or maybe for more downforce. So it'll be interesting to see maybe the sector times with some drivers, which way they decide to go.
And now we ride on board with the defending champion in FRL F1. It's IFR Jensen on the run up through a Rouge and Radion. That's the Danes coming out in me, I think, there. T-Hawk is going to give him a bit of slipstream halfway down the straight, down the Camel straight, Dutch corner on the left-hand side, as he now runs down in towards the Lecom section. 29.7 through the first sector is there or thereabouts in terms of Rocco's first sector. We're nearly halfway through qualifying. Rockwad on top, Lou second, Petra in third. Parrot, Ahern, Lukey Boy, Macho and Zero all out of the session, by the way. They haven't been coming up on our screen, but they're all out of the session, so they'll be taking no further part as Jensen flies through No Name on the run down in towards Pouon, and this is not looking like a bad lap at all, Bunty.
No, certainly not. Got an eye on Darktuner here. He's done a slightly lackluster first sector, but spins in fact. So once again, another commentator's curse. But that corner isn't the best, as I think Jonas also on a run here. Hopefully he doesn't spin as well. He does a 30.0 exactly, and he spins as well. And I don't know who's up next. I think it's an Alpine. So I mean, he's on an outlap. Hopefully he doesn't spin and he doesn't take the curve. So that's probably the most sensible thing to do. As Jensen's just done a 13.0, which is around, I think, 0.6 faster than we had Cassidy yesterday. So he's definitely going to be going into probably the 40s here. He's going to take the second part of the chicane
Jensen
quite nicely up to the line.
Oh!
Just about outside the 40s, but only a 10th faster than Cassie. I think we'll definitely be seeing some faster lap times as the session progresses.
Yeah, Jensen out on top of 141.116 is the time to beat at the minute. Rocco's there in second, Lou in third. Petterval has just started up lap. That's the Alpine you're referring to. He's just started up on a lap. Yona is also on a lap, I believe. He's just coming in toward the end of the middle sector. And in fact, he's actually spun out on track. Left side end plate damage on the AlphaTauri, so he'll be taking no further part. I believe, by the way, I saw a very sneaky FRL Ballboy 57 join the lobby.
Hopefully he knows how to select a car, because I haven't seen him join just yet, but hopefully... I'm not sure whether he'll be that competitive. When he was struggling somewhat, I think, in the F1 grid yesterday, but with all the crazy glitches, you never know. Bullboy probably could win the race with all those glitches.
Nathan has just rejoined the session as well. He's been having a few disconnection problems as well, so hopefully Bullboy will be able to select the car. Petter Ball, by the way, is on the run down in towards Pouon, and this is not looking a bad lap at all from Petter Ball. Of course, he's flying now through Pouon on the run in toward the Fania chicane, and the Fania chicane, of course, being the next corner out on track. It's a 141.9 he's currently setting. He can go miles quicker than a 141.9, so let's see what his middle sector split is like. If this is around Jensen's sort of middle sector, it is. He's 6/10 up. He could be quick and going quicker than Jensen here, so Jensen is in trouble. Petter Vol on a really good lap coming in towards Blanchemont. Bullboy, by the way, has selected a Haas, I believe. I've just seen him pop up on the left hand side, but Petter on the run through Blanchemont, on the run up toward the bus stop chicane at turns 18 and 19, and this is looking like a cracker lacking lap from Petter as he now comes through turn 19. could be the one to beat. Much quicker than Jensen at the final corner. Comes to the line, and he goes 4th in the end. But a really good lap. He just didn't find the time in that final sector at 141.2. He'll be happy with that, and he's up there with the pace.
Yeah, just looking at Blackbox's teammate, he's going really well at the moment. 13.3. He's just going to be slightly down on his teammate here, but still he's looking really good on this lap. He's definitely knowing where the limit is. Blackbox, he's quite an experienced driver in all the leagues he does do. But I imagine just setting a lap time already gets you into the top 10. So I imagine he'll probably go P5 unless he bottles the chicane. He goes slightly wide for the first bit. Has to use first gear for the rotation. 41.7, I'll say 41.5, and it is a 41.4. So
we're both wrong.
yeah. He finds a bit of time. So just behind his teammate, I don't think he'll be too unhappy with that, because he'll have still another run to go.
Speldenar's just popped the lap in as well. He's improved up to 6th, 142.1, so good lap there from the AlphaTauri. And it just comes to show that these guys are around each other in terms of the pace. Obviously, we're still very early on. As we come into the game cycle, we've got Parrot Henny, Ayan, Lukey Boy, Doc Tuna, Macho, and Zavo all at the session at the minute. So obviously they've had some sort of spins, or they've retired in the pit lane, or they've just had a disconnection and they've decided to retire as a result. But that doesn't mean to say that these guys will be quick. They probably will. It's just about getting used to the game, adapting to how the new handling model and everything is at the minute. So, with that being said, these guys will inevitably improve week upon week. They'll get more used to the game, and we should see some very quick lap times being set as we come towards Bahrain in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting in Bahrain. I think there's a patch on the horizon for F1.
Yeah.
I was just seeing Lou's actually got 84 thousandths fast here in the first sector, and that's really strong if he wants to try and pull from Jensen here. He's only done one race, to be fair to him, but he has never got a provisional pole in any form of race so far, so he wouldn't mind one himself, as he's really flying through No Name, takes the curb nicely, and then through Puon. You don't want to take too much curb, otherwise you'll go spinning out like Giovinazzi did, but he keeps in 7th gear, so leaning on the car a little bit, coming through. I think this is, if I can get it right, double gauche, or is that Lafang? Sorry, I'm one corner behind, but I think Jensen was doing around a 13.0, so if Lou could be 13.3ish, 13.1, so Lou is now on track for a really good lap. He just needs to carry the speed through the 3rd sector, as it is a main straight, so he's naturally going to probably be gaining time here, hundredths by hundredths, but Rocco and Jensen, especially Rocco in the pits, he'll be probably watching this and shaking in his boots a little bit, because he is becoming the Flying Dutchman. Coming through the bus stop chicane, he takes loads of entry curb, flies through the 2nd bit, he used 2nd gear, and then short shifts up to 3rd, picking up the DRS choice bit to the line, and it's into the to the 40s.
That bus stop chicane is what gained him the time. It's as simple as that. That bus stop chicane, because he downed it to 2nd gear, got the run out the corner. If Jensen uses that to his good effect, then he's going to be there or thereabouts. Nathan, by the way, he was invalid, but it was a 112.9 through the middle sector from Nathan. So, goodness knows how that is going to be in terms of the lap time. Obviously, it's invalid. He might be coming back into the pits. He is coming back into the pits, and Nathan clouts the wall coming into the pit lane, but he has got the pace. As I said at the beginning of the stream, he just needs to show that consistency.
Definitely, just setting a lap time, and he's going to be within the top 5 already.
Oh, Jonas spun.
And at the moment, he is last, so he's going to have to be careful, Nathan, here. If he does invalidate, quite simply, he will be doing a last to first challenge, and we saw with Jensen last season, they don't usually go that well. But T-Hawk, the German, the runner-up of F2, and he's been runner-up a few times, but this season, I think he'll be reserved maybe in F1 or F2, so he's going to be trying to see how he goes against the big boys. I imagine he did his previous time on mediums, he'll be improving quite a bit.
Yeah, he should be going around the likes of Speldenar David sort of area, I would think, with this lap time. He's, of course, in the Mercedes, and I'd throw an aimlessly good throwback at him here. He is the FRL owner as well, so we should just respect him from that. A 113.5 through the middle sector, but he actually invalidated on the exit of the Fania chicane, so that is him now not going to be improving on this lap. He could have been around Black Box in theory in terms of his lap time, but T-Hawk has got the pace, and he probably will go for another lap. It looks like he's backed off, so it looks like he might go for another lap here. I think we've got Yona on a lap as well, but I believe I saw him spin out on track, and that was in the middle sector, just through the through Lecom. That was Jensen, by the way, is 800 down to the end of the first sector, in towards No Name he goes.
Yeah, I think through the
he's
first corner
invalid.
as he invalidates, he went a little bit deep, he locked up the tyre and he just couldn't hook up that first corner as he would have wanted. And it's those really small margins which will separate the best from, I guess, the truly the best, as Jonah sets a pretty abysmal lap to put him in P11, which will give him the free tyre choice. So I think that's probably maybe the best lap he could have done, but the worst lap he could have done, if that makes any sense.
What, a 207.6?
He's in P11, so, you know, he could start on whatever tyre he wants. So,
yeah,
it could be a win.
He could do, to be honest. Obviously, we've got about a minute remaining. I think we've still got that bit of a 30-second minute glitch. So that's why we're seeing so many drivers on outlaps at the minute. Lou feels like he's done enough at this stage. Jensen, however, might feel that he hasn't done enough. He's obviously invalid, but he is going to go for another lap. And this might be one of the mine to watch on board with. But Ballboy is on an outlap, I believe. I'm seeing his Sector 3, and it's 6 minutes. So, yeah, I think he's on that lap.
Yeah. I'm really confused here with Ballboy.
I'm likewise confused because he's now going the wrong way.
I think his controller's got an issue.
He's been disqualified from the session.
I don't blame this to disqualify him going backwards. I'm Nathan. No, it's not Nathan. I think it's Bakra. Oh no, it's not Bakra.
Jensen.
Sorry, it's, Black Box is going to try and go past here. But he's all over the track. His AI is doing a really bad job. And I think Jonah's just behind as well. So they'll be a bit confused about that. But Black Box, he isn't on that. But someone we haven't talked about through the whole of the session is Mr. Bakra. And in the Britain vs. Rest of the World race, I believe he won in Australia. And he had a pretty poor finish in Britain. But he does have a really good pace, and on mediums here I can see him probably getting into the top 7 quite easily.
T-Hawk, by the way, is 6th. I just thought I mentioned that at 141.5. I just thought I mentioned that. T-Hawk's up to 6th. Yona, I think, came in with a lap there as well. He's up to 7th with a 141.6. But yeah, Baraka is on a good lap here. He's on a set of mediums, so look towards the likes of T-Hawk sort of area, maybe before he set that off lap time, a 143, maybe on the cards. But if he's quicker as that, he could be ahead of the likes of Paris and Henny as he comes through the end of the middle sector. A 113.4 in the middle sector. This is lightning quick on a set of mediums, and Baraka might actually be one of the dark horses coming into tonight. I think we've got Petter Vol, if I'm not mistaken, coming through the final corner as well. He's 200 standing his lap time, a sub 113 through the middle sector, and Petter now runs around the final corner, comes to the line, and he goes top! It's a 141 flat from Petter, found 0.2 of a second in the final sector, and currently he's out on top. Rocco's 1,000 up though, coming through the middle sector. Black Box is on a good lap as well. T-Hawk not on a lap. Baraka goes 9th with a 141.8. Nathan comes in there and goes 3rd with a 141.1. But Rocco, what's he doing? 0.04 of a second up, coming in toward the end of the middle sector. I've got an F1 2021 notification from somebody else popping up on my screen, but I don't give a crap. Rocco on the run then in toward the bus stop chicane, and this could be a really good lap from Rocco. Newly found, of course, in XL, and Rocco runs around the final corner. I think this is quickest the night, comes across the line, and he doesn't, and he goes 5th at 141.1, and Black Box is 0.3 up. Yeah, he's coming through the bus stop chicane. Can he find the time though out of the bus stop? It looked quite slow. Black Box to the line, and he goes top with a sub 141 into 140.974, and Black Box is out on top. Petter in 2nd. Alpine dominate the session, and Lou 3rd, 2,000th off Petter.
That is absolutely very rude by Black Box to steal Petter's first pole. It is only a social race, but Petter will be fuming inside that cockpit, and so will Lou by 2,000ths. But then Black Box also takes away from him, and now he's on the 2nd row. Jensen is only 1,000th off Nathan, so Nathan there is just pipping Jensen to get on that 2nd row. I mean, the lap times in the top 6 for such a long track. I know there is a lot of straights, but if this is a sign for next season, I'm all for it.
Oh, I'm all for it as well. Black Box out on top, Petter in 2nd, Lou in 3rd. Nathan and Jensen, by the way, are separated by a 1,000th of a second. I just thought I mentioned that there as well. T-Hawk has retired from the session, and with 30 viewers watching on, thank you for everyone that is tuning in. Here is the grid order coming into the social race. Hopefully, no glitches this time as per last night. It's Black Box out on top from Petter in 2nd. The Brit beats the Czech out on track. Lou in 3rd with Nathan in 4th. Jensen in 5th. Rocco in 6th. 2/10 of a second, 2.25 of a second, separating the top 6. Really good going. T-Hawk in 7th with Yona in 8th. Baraka, the Spaniard, in 9th. Watch out for him in the race if he's quick on those mediums. David in 10th with Speldner in 11th. Parrott in 12th. Henny in 13th. They all crashed out at various points, so they didn't get to improve their lap time. Ahern, Lukey Boy, Doc Tuna, Macho, Zero didn't set lap times. Bullboy got disqualified from the session in his usual Bullboy antics way. Black Box though out on top, Petr second, Lou in third. The race still to come.
It's just really scary to see some of the likes who didn't set lap times, like the likes of Macho, Zero, Dark Tuner there. They all could have been there as well. They just needed to put that lap together and not crash into the ball, quite simply, as Macho leaves, which isn't going to do his race as we just load into the lobby, and it is dry as I set it at clear, but I've got a feeling there'll be some back runners towards the back who will be starting on hards possibly, or even mediums, and making a late charge through the field.
Yeah, with high tire degradation as well around this track, and we spoke about it last night, that the guys would be putting in around lap 6, lap 7 to go on to a set of medium compounded tyres, and we saw that even though the race was partly disrupted by the lot of spinners that we had, tonight these guys get a clean slate compared to F3 and F4 last night. They're running pretty much what the rules are going to be going forward in FRL, so it gives us a good indicator to see how everything works, how everything goes, and hopefully this social race is just going to be and laying the foundations of what is to come, of course, this season. Luckily, we have got a formation lap, unlike my co-commentator messing up the lobby settings last night, and the formation lap, of course, is to come, and already we have got, I think that's Bullboy, maybe, going, or an Alfa Romeo, I should say. It's either Ahern or Lukey Boy, who is absolutely flying up the field, but Black Box out on top, Petr second, Lou in third. Looking at the strategies, 19 guys out on track, as an Alfa Romeo going very off track there, goodness me. Parrott and Henny and Aeon have all been disqualified from the session. Not great to see. Hopefully they'll clean it up, of course, in time for next week's pre-season race, and pre-season is where it matters, of course. Top 8, of course, qualified on a set of softs. Baraka and David as well qualified on a set of softs and mediums, respectfully. Further down the field, though, we've got the likes of Spellnar, Ahern, Doc Tune and Bullboy on a set of mediums. But what's interesting to me, Macho and Zero on a set of soft compounded tyres. They'll be looking to make their way, both the Red Bulls, up the field as soon as possible.
Yeah, Zero and Macho are going to be a prime example of why Red Bull has wings on the softs. They're going to absolutely carve their way through the field. I know Zero at some tracks, he is top 50. Likewise with Macho, or a CDF2 champion himself, Macho. He's going to be... But he has left the lobby, so he's going to... As he does get overtaken by an Alpha Tauri, so that's not going to do his best.
I think I might have seen him actually rejoin the session, but he can't take control of his car on a formation lap, of course. So he might be waiting until the race starts.
Yeah, and then P17, I don't think he's going to lose too many positions, to be honest. It will be interesting to see if Bullboy's faster than his AI, but you know, that will be probably one of the subordinate battles over the likes of the two Alpines. Nathan as well, we'll see how aggressive he is on a first lap as he's lagging a little bit. Jensen in 5th. I think this is maybe a bit of an example of things to come. He might not have it all his way, just like we saw in Japan last season where he had an awful start as he nearly runs into the back of Nathan. Rocco as well in 6th, so I think a lot of drivers are a little bit further down than they'd like to be as Rocco picks up some grass there and nearly spins into the wall. There's a lot of around the bust-up chicane, so I think a few drivers are maybe just dipping their wheels off the track there.
Yeah, dipping the wheels on the track, and probably to try and get as better a run as possible off the line, because the clean side of the grid is actually on the outside rather than the inside, and that's where all the marbles tend to pick up near to the pit wall, and that's the dirty side of the grid. The cleaner side of the grid is where basically the even numbers are. Petr, Nathan, Rocco and the likes are all on the even side of the grid, so therefore they're probably going to get a better start compared to the rest. I'm going to go quickly a top 3. Nathan to win. I'm going to go Jensen second. I'm going to go Black Box for third, as Macho has set a 25.4 fastest lap. We're about to get going now. And the revving engine should be coming on. I think we're just loading in. The revving engine's on and it's lights out and away we go. And already, Macho was not started at the back of the field. I think he's let everyone go. And Black Box lead down and towards the source. Lou and Nathan are going side by side. And Nathan tries to go all the way around the outside. Petra's actually up into second. Muscles his way through in the Alpine and stays in position. So Black Box leads the way on the run down in towards the Rouge and Radion for the first time. But look at the run. Look at the slipstream that they're going to get. Macho retires from the session. Already spun through turn 1. And now look at Lou right on the back of Black Box. The two Alpines and the Aston Martin about to go side by side all the way down in towards Lecombe. Petra on the outside line, Black Box on the inside line, and Petra's absolutely clean sailed him around the outside. What a move that is on the brakes, late as you like, and the Czechs get one over on the Brits. Petra leads the way, Black Box second, Lou in third, a great restart.
Yeah, Nathan, I think he's just overwatching the action. Petter was so late on the brakes there, as I think David might have a bit of an issue. He's going side by side with Ahern as he gets squeezed a little bit. David's lost a few positions, to say the least. He's got a clean front wing, and damage is on. As Dark Tuna has spun, as you said, and Lukey Boy, I don't think has had the best of starts. Few drivers bogging down as Parrot is all over the back of Bullboy. Parrot's going to, I think, go down the inside, or he's going to wait, just like NASCAR style, just pushing Bullboy around. But he has 7/10 over Black Box, so he's looking to try and get out of DRS as soon as possible.
Jonas Spun just coming out of the Fania chicane as well, so he's now down in the back of the field. Dark Tuna goes through him. Petter, though, leads the way in toward Blanchimont for the first time. And look at Lou right on the back of Black Box, trying to use up the overtake mode, of course, for deployment on the bottom. That's how much they've got to give. For 86% going into the bus stop chicane, Lou on the inside line gets cut off by Black Box, and Black Box stays in third. But now Jensen and Nathan, oh, how I'd like to see this battle in the past. Nathan and Jensen nearly running side by side on the exit of the bus stop chicane, and Nathan stays fourth for now. He looks quite quick, however he's not quite quick because he's now into the back of Lou, caused the Constantino effect. Jensen's got damage as well. I think Nathan's got damage and all of that as well, and now that brings Lou out of the DRS compared to the top two ahead.
I'd like to think Rocco has got a spare wing as Jensen has to cut that corner, understandably. Speldenar's out. But look at Zero, I think he's made up now about VSE, as you say. He's made up 6 positions from P18 to P12. Another driver who's made up a few positions is Hennep from P13 into the points, and he's on soft. So I think all the soft runners are really beginning to come in quite well into the race, but slowly but surely, like we saw yesterday, the mediums will phase in.
Yeah, Baraka in 7th is probably the man to watch out for. He's getting 2 positions at the minute. He's on a set of mediums, though, and is the best of the medium runners at this stage. Spellno, I think, crashed at the top of a Rouge and Radion. Not sure if he's involved with another driver. However, unlike pre-season, unlike the races that are to come, probably won't be investigated because it's just a social race. It's just getting these guys used to the game. Nathan and Jensen are right all over the back of each other, and Jensen nearly ran into the back of Nathan there under the VSC. We should be getting back to green flag racing very soon indeed, however, and Petter leads the way, and he's got a 1.1 second advantage over Black Box at this stage. But what does Petter do? Does he just try and pull away from his teammate at this stage and let the teammate basically hit the raft with Lou and Nathan in behind? Or does Black Box try and push to get onto the back as Yona has picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC?
Well, he's already done half the work. He's already outside Black Box's DRS, which is a massive thing. He won't receive any slipstream Black Box. He can use all the ERS he likes, but that's going to be a real kick in the teeth for Black Box. He just simply got caught out with a VSC there. Petter already got a 1.4 gap, as I think Rocco and Jensen, who did have damage, so Rocco there just got the unlucky with the Constantino effect. But
T-Hawk's into the pit lane as well, so it's going to cause a double stack here. He's got damage on the right side end plate, a double stack, and it's going to be so painful for T-Hawk. He's going to be waiting maybe 20-30 seconds in the pit stop here as the pit crew are now ready for him, and he's going to go on just at a hard, it seems.
Yeah, it's not great for him, but it is fairly good for Nathan, as he's now eliminated about 3 of his rivals by pure lag. But Baraka, he's got a 2.3 second gap to the guys ahead. I guess clean air is good, but he could come under pressure from the soft runner of Hennep. It's a bit worrying for Baraka to have that big of a gap, as Lou is all over the back of Black Box.
Doc Jr. is through on Lukey Boy as well. He's up into 12th. And yeah, you mentioned David, Parrott, Ball Boy as well, further down the field, are pretty much all over the back of each other. Parrott picks up the first 3-second time penalty of the night, but look at Lou on the back of Black Box, and he has got a Black Box right in front of him as Lou now looks to the outside line, in toward the Fania section. You never see an overtake around here, and again, you never see an overtake around there. As now Nathan is going to try and go around the outside and towards the Campos section. You can see an overtake around here, and now coming through Stavolo, he might try and get the run. He feathers the throttle very nicely, does Lou, but at what cost? Because Nathan is now beginning to close in on him. Black Box as well, closing on Petr for the lead of the race. It's a really good start, I've got to say, for a social race. Petr leads the way though, Black Box in second, Lou in third, and Nathan in fourth. I think we're going to stay in the same order as we come on towards lap 4.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, Parrott is pushing David. He's going to go out the inside of the Foster chicane. He's bowled on the brakes, and what a move from Parrott. Petr Volesk as Nathan sets fast lap. Good to see Macho doesn't keep fast lap with that glitch he has. But David, he's going to try and fight back here. He's only 2 tenths off Parrott, and he does just leave it to fight another day. Parrott is also known as YT Flex from I think last season, as he did change his name. So
Nathan spun! Nathan spun at the top of a Rouge. Sorry to cut in, I was on board with him. He was catching right onto the back of Lou. He has absolutely sent that into the wall through a Rouge and Radeon, and Nathan is out of the session, and that brings out the first safety car on FRL of F1 2021. Nathan out the session. Basically what he tried to do there is flat out and up Rouge and Radeon. Didn't work.
And that's another position for Baccarat in P4 now. He's just going to be waiting for another one of the top 3 to fall under, maybe not the pressure, I just think they're pushing a bit too hard here, 4 laps in, and I think my headset's on low battery, so I might need to go and get another one.
That is totally fine. Petr though out on top, Black Box second, Lou in third. We are under the safety car, as I say, for the first time here in FRL on F1 2021. And hopefully, we're going to see some really good action out on track, of course. Zero has gained 11 positions, just about the position gains. Bullboy's gained 9, Henne and Aeon have gained 8 respectively as well. So they're the big position gainers. The big position losers, Jensen and Rocco. Rocco, by the way, had spun under the yellow flag last time around, the last lap around. He actually spun coming through the Lecom section out on track, the Fanier section I should say, out on track. So Rocco's spun it there. He's came in for a change of front wing. He's now on a set of mediums. Maybe not going to get to the end of the race, but certainly he's going to be in a better position maybe towards the end. But Petr out on top, Black Box in second, Lou in third. Bunty, if you can, obviously if you're back, you are back, which is great. I'm going to ask you a question. What do these guys do in terms of the strategy? Some of them are coming in, it seems. Baraka, interestingly, coming in from a set of mediums. He's not going to go hard to the end, is he?
I think he will, and I think everyone else will, but I feel like Baraka's just selling his strategy, what he worked so well for there in P4. And Baraka, he's going to go for, it looks like, a wing change. So I guess he had some wing damage. And he's putting on a pair of hards, I believe. So I guess that's just strategic. But he's lost a position to Ahern, and he's been a bit quiet here. On his debut, I think he will be an F1 reserve. He's made slow but steady progress. It is a safety car, but I tell you what, who won't be going at the speed limit is Mr. T-Hawk. I think he was lapped by the safety car, but because he made a pit stop, he managed to get back through, and now he's pushing like crazy just to join the train again.
Yeah, I think actually the safety car might have been deployed after T-Hawk had actually got round. So I think T-Hawk is actually, he was well behind Rocco. I'm not sure if he's actually came in maybe for a front wing change. I'm not sure with that, but T-Hawk certainly into the pit lane. And it will back that up because look at his time. It's mean like it's a 2-minute lap time. So T-Hawks obviously came into the pit lane, I think, and that is why we're now seeing him. And I was about to say that he would have had to stick to the delta time, of course, in the old game. I'm not sure if that's still the case in the new game here, but T-Hawk would have had to stick to the delta time. But you can see he's pushing. But we should get, I think, another 2 laps underneath the safety car, including this one.
Yeah, you'd like to think. Just looking at some other drivers, Zero in 70, he's gone mediums. So I think Baraka and Ahern could be put under some severe pressure as the hards are really quite slow on this game. They're quite lethargic with the turn-in. They just understeer you wide, and that can really hurt you with warnings as well. Exceed track limits. But Black Box, he's bravely stuck it out on softs. It could be a strategic masterclass, but it does seem a little bit foolish with all the fields being on fresh tyres.
Yeah, most of the field, of course, on fresh tyres. Black Box is the one, as you say, who has not came into the pit lane. And that's purely because Petter, who are right of way, came into the pit lane before him. So that's why Petter is obviously in second position. Lewis in third. Black Box, the real loser. He's just going to have to try and stick it out, maybe for a couple of laps or so, to try and essentially get an overcut, essentially, later on in this race. But Black Box out on top, Petter second, Lewis in third. We are under the safety car, as I say. Let's have a look then at the stops that have been made. Black Box obviously has only not made a pit stop. Everyone else has made one. Jensen, Rocco and T-Hawk have made 2 pit stops, which is quite crucial as well. They're going to be on fresher rubber towards the end of the race. There's the position changes, which you've already seen. And now, Black Box, instead of actually coming in... Oh, as Doc Tuner and Lukey Boy have had a collision further down the field on the run-up in towards the bus stop chicane. They both pick up a 5-second penalty. Lukey Boy with a 5-second, Parrot with a 3-second. I think Black Box should have just stayed out, try and take the hit.
Yeah.
And then not come into the pit lane as he's done now.
I understand his perspective though, because I think he is going for a set of mediums to the end. I think he's backing himself to go to the end, unlike others, as Hawk and Rocco hit each other somehow, as they seem quite far away on my screen. Rocco seems a little bit annoyed, but I think Black Box thinks the likes of Pettervol, Lou and Hennep will be struggling to make it to the end and might get a puncture. And it'll be interesting to see what the tyre wear is like after the race, maybe.
Yeah, it will be quite interesting to see, I think, in terms of the tyre strats and in terms of the tyre management, how this is all going to work, to be honest. David and Lukey Boy are passing each other down the straight as if something's not right here. And Lukey Boy, I think, is trying to get ahead of David. Maybe as a result of service 5-second penalty. I'm not sure. He's running alongside him. Remember, you can stay 10 car lengths behind a car in Formula 1. And I think that's what we saw with Rocco and T-Hawk. And that's probably why T-Hawk was a bit frustrated. Because Rocco was quite a far way off Jensen. And Lukey Boy and David, once again, overtake each other.
I think I think someone's invited. I didn't invite Luke myself, and I think someone, I assume, invited the wrong Luke. There's a guy called, I think, Luke Red, who's called who's an F1 driver or an F1 reserve, and I think this guy's F3, which probably is a bit why maybe his driving's a little bit, how should we put it?
Haphazard.
Different to the others. Yeah, haphazard, I would say.
Yeah, that's purely because, though, everyone, as I say, is still getting used to the game. So I think we've got a mistaken identity, is what I'm going to say out on track. So whoever wants to take the hit for that, I certainly didn't invite him, so I'll throw that out there. Jensen, by the way, spun. Jensen, by the way, spun underneath the safety car. That was a strange one from Jensen's perspective. And the safety car is going to be coming in this lap, but he has overtaken Dark Tuner. I don't know what happened there, unless he got a disconnection on his wheel or something, I don't know.
It's been an awful day with the name change back in F for Jensen. It's been a race I forget really so far. He can bring it back, and we've seen him bring it back in these sorts of scenarios, but I'd be backing more the likes of Black Box, who have been quite solid this race, as Petter. He's just revving out that car, but it probably is a rev glitch.
Yep.
As Lou, he's just fiddling with the CRS there. I think he's looking forward to getting a race underway. I know these two practice a lot today, so I think they're quite familiar with how each other drive. Lou was comparing him to Fernando Alonso with the weaving, and he's weaving a lot here, Petter. But it's a quite slow restart, but I think Lou's right on his tail, and they're going side by side. And I don't think he'll get a 5-second penalty. I don't think they touched. Gets past Bullboy, which is the first overtake of many, I'm sure we'll see. Hennep's going to try and go round the outside. I don't know where Hennep's come from. He's somehow in the top 3.
He is in the top 3, and Baraka's fighting side by side with Ahern, running down in towards the Rouge Radion as well. And it's Baraka who comes out on top, so he's up to 4th. Ahern down into 5th, and he backs out the throttle actually. Now Ahern's on the back as Zero's out.
As I said, he absolutely...
But look at Lou!
I think it was just like Nathan. As Lou is trying to go round the outside of Petter, can he do the move that Petter did to Black Box? He cannot. It seems as though the Alpine is just superior at this track almost. As Black Box, he's all over the back of T-Hawk. He has lost it as well, into the wall. There's been a few spinners. He's retired as well. I don't think there's a safety car, as we've just had one. And just like that, we've only got 14 drivers now.
Yeah, Zero and Nuki Boy both falling out of the race. Both one on a set of mediums, one on a set of hards. Petzer though leads the way. Baraka is through on Henny on the way around the outside of Puon. Great move there by Baraka, and those hards are coming into play. And Baraka's through and he's into third. It just comes to show, with a good bit of pace about you, it just comes to show how good he is. Bullboy is under pressure from Yona, and Yona now tries to go all the way around the outside into the Fanier section. Out on track, little bit of wheel banging, and the Haas tries to hold it on the inside line. The AlphaTauri, though, is going to go all the way around the outside, possibly here. He's going to use up the ERS, and Henny is out the session, just coming out of Stavlo. He's lost it under himself, so Henny is out of the session, out of third position. Yona is through, T-Hawk through, Black Box through. It is Bullboy hunting day as T-Hawk gets chopped up there, I think, by Black Box trying to come through on a gap that was very minute. Rocco, by the way, is up to 6th.
Brilliant progress by him. Henry just, I think, dropped it on the exit of the curve. Bullboy running out of deployment is the reason why he's being absolutely gobbled up here. And I think T-Hawk is not going to be a happy man. He's going to be an angry German. He's going to go down the inside of the fin. Can he make it stick? He's going to use first gear and try and leave the space on the outside of Dark Tuner. Dark Tuner is going to be quite ballsy here. I think they're going to go side by side into a route. Someone's going to have to back off. But the driver is. This is going to be dangerous, and eventually T-Hawk concedes. But look at Lou. Lou's going to try and go again round the outside of the Petter. But nothing works for the Aston Martin driver.
Black Box is through on Yona as well, down in toward Lecom, and Black Box is through and he's into 8th position. The mediums, what we're seeing, is really, really good in terms of the pace. Rocco, by the way, as I say, is already up into 6th position. Parrott's in 5th. Rocco obviously has picked up a penalty out on track. He's picked up a 5-second penalty, but I think it was a speeding through the pit lane, possibly, where he picked that up, and Yona's lost it.
Jensen.
Yeah, Jensen, sorry, he lost it. Oh no, Yona has.
Yona, I think he dropped it, but luckily he ghosted. I think that's the key of the ghosting system. If he didn't ghost it, he would have kamikazed into Jensen, and it would have been another race to forget for Jensen. He's had a lot of bad moments.
Oh, Lou spun!
Down the field. Lou spun! And that means Baraka's going to take second on the hards. So now we might see the strategy come through. Which would be the better tyre to go on under safety car?
Oh, this is more like F3 and F4 social race in terms of the spinners now. Black Box is on the back of David, and look at the speed that Black Box has got. He's on the outside line, in towards Blanchimon, and it's ballsy, and it's brave, and it's brilliant. And Black Box is through on David, and he's through, and he's into 6th position. Dark Tuner as well is through on Bullboy, making Bullboy look like a piece of spam there, if I've got to be honest. Dark Tuner through, and he's into 10th. Lou is into the pit lane after picking up full wing damage after his spin coming through the Fania chicane. And now T-Hawk all the way back on Bullboy. And has he got the sniper's eye? Has he got the Hawkeye out on track to try and get the move done? These puns are terrible.
Yeah, luckily Watermelon's not in a race, otherwise we'd still be looking up on Google ways to make jokes out of Watermelon. But it's been a really, really tough lap there for Lou. He was fighting for the lead down the Kemmel Straight, and now he's down in unlucky 13th, so once again, 13th is a bad place. As Jensen makes it round the outside of the McLaren driver, the Spaniard of David. I think he's just going up against fast drivers around him. I think Dark Tuner is also one of those. So once he does get overtaken, I do feel he might be in no man's land just for P9.
Yeah, he is in a bit of no man's land. I think Bullboy tried to attack him actually in toward the Lecom, and that now means Dark Tuner is into 9th, and he should begin to pull away as soon as I said that. He picked up a 3-second time penalty. Yeah. So there's another commentator's curse you can add to your shot book coming into tonight. Yona has DNF'd out of the race. He's lost it coming through No Name. I wonder if that's going to deploy. Safety car, dead on time. Safety car deployed.
I mean, Lou's going to love this, to be fair. He does manage to get past, but some drivers have been a little bit disappointing, I can't lie. I think Nathan, Zero, kind of schoolboy errors there, just dropping it. Same as Macho, but I think Macho might have been internet related. Jonah there probably could have been in a point if he just kept it together, but spins, eventually you're going to hit the ball, and it was only a matter of time. But it's good for Lou, as he will catch up to the back of the train.
Nissi, by the way, in the... What were you saying, sorry?
No one's... Oh, I say no one's pissed, and Parrot and Ahern do.
And Rocco's in as well. Rocco, more crucially, I think, is into the pit lane. He's got, obviously, the pace over those guys. I think Dark Tuner's in, Bullboy also following in as well. These guys should go a set of mediums, I would imagine, towards the end of the race. It seems really, really good to do that strategy. Rocco's obviously serving up his 5-second penalty as well, so that's why he's probably came into the pit lane. But it's Petrov on top, Baraka in second, Black Box in third. We're under the safety car, as I say. Baraka, though, I thought he was quite consistent in terms of his qualifying. On a set of medium compound tyre, he was only, what, 0.8 of a second off pole? And now he's in second, and now he's on the back of Petter, probably on the better tyres towards the end of the race.
Do you know, I have a little predicament. I could have sworn I heard, well, even with all these engine glitches with my brilliant ears, aging at the age of 16, I think Bracken might have lifted off the throttle there for the last corner to possibly get P11 in qualifying, to possibly get the free choice of tyre. So I do actually think Bracken might even be faster than 0.8 off, as he's using neutral. So he's gone a bit too low for the extra rotation, I see.
Paris, I believe, lost at the top of Lecombe, on the exit of Lecombe, and he's lost positions to Lou and to Rocco. So Paris now down into 10th position, and I wonder if that is going to bring out the bird in him to try and get up from 10th position up in towards the top half of the field. Yeah, T-Hawk is not paying me for these puns, by the way. They're just being thrown in for free. Petrov's out on top, Baraka second, Black Box in third. We're not even at the halfway stage yet, and you're probably already sick of me.
I'll tell you what, these drivers who go from last to near the front, it's baffling. Jensen, he's fourth now, after being, I could have sworn, last after his, I think, front wing change, after he collided with Nathan, if you can remember that, all 7 laps ago. We've had 2 safety cars, and I think it's taken us about 45 minutes to get to 10, so we'll be here by midnight at this rate.
Yeah, I think at this rate we're going to be missing Love Island later on. Petersol is out on top, it's Baraka in second, it's Black Box in third. We are nearly at the halfway stage, of course, here in Belgium. Around the longest track on the F1 calendar. But I've got to say, the standards of racing, apart from the safety car restarts, the level of racing, I've got to say, has been really, really good, given that this is only a social race.
Yeah. You exclude Nathan's connection, which is a bit worrying given he's going to be fighting near the front. And I think you've got some, I think spins as well, similar to F3 and F4. I think it's looking quite good.
Yeah, I was going to say, get used to Nathan's connection like that. It's always the same, and no matter what league he drives in, it always throws a fit. And I think it's because of his brother, and his brother uses up all of the Wi-Fi in his house, and he's bought an extender, I think, for his PS4, but I'm not sure if he's got his extender plugged in. So, there we go.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he's got the extender plugged in, but for his sake, I hope he has. I mean, it just will be interesting to see where he does fit into the mix. I think we did get a glimpse of it, probably being in that top 5, and without the excursion into the wall of Eau Rouge, as Parrot, I think, shows in a good example of that, I think he'll probably be top 3 in this race.
Oh, what happened to Paris? Oh, he's at the race!
That's Eau Rouge. I think Eau Rouge has caught loads of victims. And although I was going to say we've had more DNFs than in the F3 and F4 race, but then again, I did forget to turn off damage yesterday.
Yeah, you did forget to turn off damage, which I think is probably why we saw as many finishes as what we did. I mean, we're halfway nearly to a half full grid, basically, in Formula 1 and Formula 2 social race tonight, and we're going to get hopefully 11 finishes. All these 11 guys out on track are going to finish. So hopefully we're going to see that. Yona, by the way, is complaining about the curbs and he can't hold it together. It's a learning experience, Yona. It's a learning experience for everyone on the game. I've spun around here. And honestly, it is the worst possible thing to do, spinning around here. You've just got to be careful on the curbs, and you've got to be careful on the throttle input as you go out of a corner. So if you get that and manage to secure that and not hit the curbs as you do, you'll probably end up being clean most of the time, and you probably end up being more consistent as a result. So it's just a learning experience.
Very confusing. Just a side note on Mr. Baldwin. He's put it in overtake for the safety car restart, and he's using a lot of ERS, a bit unnecessary. If Baldwin's listening, turn off your ERS, because I think he'll need it to defend against Dark Tuner, but I mean, I've never seen that before, especially in F1. I mean, he is, I guess, very prepared for the safety car restart.
I wonder if he's not got the automatic ERS assist on, maybe.
I've turned it off, so that is his choice, I think. I think he just wants to, he's as red can get with it, overtake on and hopefully his tyre temps, as he is going pretty straight, unlike Peterville, who once again is weaving quite a lot. We saw it when Lou was behind him. He goes quite late under safety car, so Barak is going to have to be aware of that in a Williams, as it is still an Alpine 1-3. So Alpine's still right at the top of that field.
Yeah, it is still an Alpine 1-3, and Petter will be hoping to try and get a good restart. I think he's going to floor it now, and he does. He floors it right on my cue, and Petter floors it in towards the final corner, and he's gone. He's absolutely sailed on. 7/10 clear of Baraka. We see the helicopter shot as we come out through the final corner on board with Black Box, but Petter leads the way, crossing the line for the 12th occasion. Petter leads the way. Baraka in second, Black Box in third. Rocco already making a move on Ahern. Out of the bus stop chicane. He is through. Ahern tries to dive it down the inside line. Doesn't quite get the car stopped, but he's still on the inside line, and he has lost it. Coming out, he's lost his front wing as well. He retires out of frustration more than anything else, which I'm not really surprised, because that's another spin out on track for the guys out on track, and Ahern has left the session as a result. Peterbilt leads the way on the run up toward Lecombe. Baraka in second, Black Box in third, Jensen in fourth, David in fifth. But I've got to say, this race is really turning into a war of attrition.
Yeah, I mean, 10 drivers, and they're still closely matched. I think you've got 10 of the fastest, arguably, drivers in FRL, maybe excluding the likes of David, who I think probably on the hards will get gobbled up, same as Bullboy. Bit disappointed about Dark Junior, as Bullboy still got it in overtake. I love each driving with it not being spun, but you know, each to their own. He has sadly dropped out of DRS range, but also another thing to note is Rocco is right on the back of T-Hawk, so I think he'll be looking to get a climb towards those top four, as David's using a lot of ERS here to keep with the likes of Jensen.
Yeah, oh, Doc Junior has spun! Doc Junior has spun! As I ride on board with another driver tonight who has spun. Doc Junior has spun, he resets the track, and Doc Junior now down in the back of the field, comes out of the Fanier chicane, and that's where he spun it out on track. Peterbilt leading the way. Baraka in second. We've got to talk about the tyre strategy here, though, as Rocco tries to line up a move on T-Hawk further down the field. Petter, he's on pretty much the same tyre wear, I would say, compared to Baraka, and Baraka's 4.5 tenths off him. Baraka is seriously quick.
God, I could have sworn T-Hawk went so sideways there off the bus stop chicane. Did really well to keep that together, but I do think the do run out of tyre life quite fast compared to last game, so I would back Baraka probably at this moment to actually have better tyres, arguably, as they both got exactly the same amount of ERS, but they both turn it off, or Pet keeps it on just to be sure. I think Barak is just leading him into a full security here by still closing in on him.
Jensen tries to go all the way around the outside of Black Box. I wasn't shouting his name just for anything. Black Box defended the inside line very well, I've got to say, and Jensen cannot find a way through. But this old rivalry from America is going to continue.
Yeah, Black Box, he had his pants pulled down once there by Petter for the lead, so he wasn't going to get it done again. Lou there, all over the back of Rocco, so this battle for 6th here is really heating up. As Rocco, he's really close, just 2 tenths off T-Hawk into P1. I think all these drivers are running quite high downforce because they're able to stick with each other really closely through this middle sector.
Zabel, by the way, was mentioning about his gain of 11 positions in 4 laps. And then look what's happened. He's now DNF'd out of the race. So it's unfortunate from Zabel's perspective. But that is a positive he can take forward, obviously going in towards pre-season. I'm sure we'll come on to the pre-season thoughts going into this. T-Hawk, though, is really on the back now of David. And Jensen, once again, on the back of Black Box. He's not going to go around the outside into the bus stop chicane, is he? Tries to go all the way around the outside. He's on the inside line. And he was always going to get pinched up there. Never going to go for the move. T-Hawk, however, goes for the move. Job done. He's through and he's into 5th. And now Rocco is going to try and make it 2 for 1. He wants a bargain deal from B&M Bargains. Rocco to the outside line. Runs around the outside of La Source. Brilliant stuff by Rocco. Gets 2 positions for the price of 1. Buy 1, you get 1 free. Rocco's through to 5th.
Yeah, brilliant there from Rocco, just showing his class, really impressing the XL guys if they're watching. He has also got quite a chunk of VRS here, but 2.5 seconds to get to Jensen. And we all know how fast Jensen is from obviously winning the F1 Championship. But Lou, he's got saved all his ERS here for the camera straight, and the VSE comes out.
VSC? Is that the Dark Tuner, maybe?
I mean, I could have sworn the gap was 7 seconds before. He does have a front wing.
Yeah, he does.
Checking. I do not know why then. I think that could be another glitch.
Just trying to have a flick through. I can't see any front wing damage on anyone's car. Out on track, there's no front wing damage. It's just, I think, a random VSE. Maybe someone's left a session and it's caused a bit of code in the game to obviously deploy a VSE. It's a VSE nonetheless. Pet's out on top, Baraka second, Black Box in third. And what is interesting to see is Baraka, obviously on the same strategy as Peta. Peta will try and hope to get those mediums towards the end of the race. Baraka, however, he's on a set of hards, and surely he's probably going to be one of the men to beat. Lou, I think, is in a really good opportunity as well to gain through the field. He's in 8th position. I don't think he'll be 8th come the end.
Yeah, he'll be hoping for punctures. But just seen, looks like Felix, quite a, well, maybe not old name, but he has, I think in this field he would also be probably in the top 6 with his just pure consistency. Great to see him in the comments, but we saw Peta previously with his VSC restarts be really, really good off the mark. I think pulling out 1.4, wasn't it, Black Box in one of the first VSCs we had?
Was about 1.4 seconds, yeah, and we are back underway.
A bit slower from Peta. I don't think he'll be as happy, the Czech driver, but just realised not many people have had penalties apart from Dark Tuner, and his, if I check, is 3 seconds, okay. And I do remember putting it on strict, so I think maybe it's either Belgium's not much of a corner cutting track, or these drivers are really, really keeping it within the track limits quite nicely.
Yeah, and I think that's to try and counteract what we've been on about, mainly in the F3 and F4 race, but also in the F1 and F2 race, and that's the curbs around here in Belgium, and the curbs around here on the game at any track, I would say. David, by the way, is trying to go all the way around the outside of T-Hawk. T-Hawk was very late on the brakes, and that lets Lou in for a free position. Down the inside line in towards Lecom, David has to back out, and Lou is through. T-Hawk obviously came steaming in there, I've got to say. There was no contact, but T-Hawk just got to be mindful of his braking points, I think, in towards Lecom. David now down to 8th position as a result.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit angry probably still after that damaged wing when he had to pit like his teammate, but Mr. Lou, he's on a charge here. He could be doing a Lewis Hamilton-esque move, just sending it up the inside, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. But he just sailed by round David, so I think his confidence is probably sky high, and he's not got much to lose here in 7th. And given it's such a race, I think it's more pride on the line probably than actual gaining positions, because there's no points up for grabs.
Yeah, Lou, I'm sure, is going to be sweating his way maybe up to 6th position here, and Lou is going to be a man to watch. Doc Tuner has crashed coming through Stavolo, so he is now at the session.
Oh,
and another
no.
safety car! This is like
Just
Division 5 of TTML, this! Goodness me, we can't catch a break. And that, just for reference, we had 5 safety cars. We're getting close, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not ideal to be honest, but Lou was about to make the move on T-Hawk stick, but this plays brilliantly for Jensen. He's gone on to repair a sauce. He's risked it for the chocolate biscuit, but can he make his way through for the lead? He's got 5 drivers to get past, and they're all really fast. I wouldn't want to race them myself.
I definitely wouldn't want to race them myself, and yeah, Jensen has got 5 guys to pass, but it remains to be seen whether these guys will pit in, because I think the top 5 actually missed the pit lane, because where the safety car was actually deployed out on track, they missed the pit lane, and the safety car has obviously caught up with them and is waiting at the top of a Rouge and Radion, or just before a Rouge and Radion, I should say. But that means Peta leads the way, and all of these guys have got to stick to their delta time for an extra lap, which is going to be quite costly, I think, for the guys on a wearing set of tyres. For the likes of Jensen, you're going to be counting your lucky chickens.
Yeah, hopefully Jensen has many chickens down there in Devon, but you know, Ballboy in 9th, pretty strong. Is it F1 pace? I would say no. And once again, he's put it into overtake. I think he's in AI mode, but Ballboy, if you're listening, turn it off, save some battery. It's only the safety cars. He's going very slow. I'm very confused with Ballboy here. In F3 he was pretty unstoppable making his way through the field, but in F1 I think he's been a little bit not himself as he runs wide there, so he is doing, I think, a Nikita Mazepin, if I can get my words out, impersonation there in a Haas.
Has he got a helmet on your screen?
He's got a white helmet. Oh no, he doesn't.
He doesn't. He doesn't have a helmet.
Maybe that's why he's struggling. He's just got his pure.
Oh no, he has. I think he has now. What the?
No, he does. I don't think he does.
Does he not?
As the leaders do pit, which does mean I think Jensen's going to make his way up into second.
Blackbox stays out.
So Pete, he's going to leave the pits here. This could be critical for Pete. And
He's ahead.
Jensen's coming out.
Oh!
Just on pit exit. Pete stays, and that's a brilliant move from Pete. Hats off to him. I think the win could be his.
Now, I do not rate that at all because he cut the pit lane exit to try and get out the pits ahead of Jensen. So if that was pre-season, there'd be a penalty coming his way. He's lucky that it's a social race, but you've got to try and nip it in the bud early, I think. And Petter, don't repeat that again, otherwise you'll end up in the stewards.
Who, sorry?
Petter, he cut the pit lane exit. I completely cut over the white line.
Oh, well, Bullboy, he's still... His ERS is 1%, he hasn't got a helmet on, he's going at 193 miles per hour. It's almost like he's in a convertible around Spa, just doing what he likes. It's pretty GTA stuff, like, you could say.
It's like Nikita Mazepin has literally took control of his car, and he's been paid £1 million just to get out of his seat for the night, and he's somehow in 8th position.
I think Bullboy's hit $1 billion, but maybe Nikita Mazepin's dad has lent him a few just to let him drive Bullboy's car here.
No, honestly, I think it's brilliant from Bullboy's perspective. It's lucky, is what I'll say. It's quite lucky that he's in 8th position because of obviously the spins that have happened out on track. But that doesn't detract away from the guys happening up front. Black Box is on 10-lap all mediums against Petter on a set of soft compounded tyres, on a fresh set of soft compounded tyres as well. You may think there is no hope for Black Box, but he'll be wanting to get a second advantage as the safety car comes in this lap. He'll be wanting to get a second advantage to try and break Petter's heart. And if he can stay in position, we know how good of a defensive driver he is. I do not doubt for 1 minute Black Box will not put up for a fight, because he will.
I will not sugarcoat this. I do think he'll be outside the top 6. I'll just put it out now. I think Black Box will get gobbled up, to say the least. He didn't have brilliant defensive driving skills. I remember when he lost his wing and he was trying to go for a few rash moves, so he's quite used to being in the lead, but once he kind of starts getting overtaken, he might lose his head. It's a crucial race though, so I hope he doesn't. As Jensen as well, I think he's one of the fastest also in the top 3. He's going to be charging at Petter, not only Petter but Black Box as well. The two Alpines have had a quite alright start, as Rocco is quite close to Baraka, and Baraka's another one you can't discount. So all of the top 6 could win it, apart from Black Box in my opinion.
Yeah, Baraka will be hoping this race is a cracker out on track. Black Box out on top, Petter second, Jensen in third. I like how I did that one. Rocco's on the back of Baraka coming up through a Rouge and Radion, and Petter is on the back of Black Box, but Black Box is there on sufferance. He is still there, but I don't think Petter's got enough ERS. He needs the DRS essentially to try and get the overtake done. Rocco, however, doesn't care about that. It's actually Petter sails around the outside of Black Box. There's contact further down the field. Rocco has been smoked by Lou, and Black Box on the inside line. With Petter on the outside line, and Jensen's going to try and make it 3 wide down in towards Bruxelles. Doesn't quite get the move done, and Black Box is still there on sufferance, and there's contact with Jensen in the back, and a bit of wheel banging between the two Alpines, and the Alpines lead the way. But Black Box, I said he would defend, and he still is, but Jensen down the inside line. This is never going to end well. He backs out luckily, and Black Box stays in the lead of the race, and that's what he needs to do.
Jensen, he's going to go down the inside of Lefagner, if I can pronounce it right, into second, but Petter's going to try and fight this, and I think he's been forced into a half spin. Baraka's right on his tail, as you say. Rocco, I think, got spun off possibly by Lou, but Baraka, I take it all back. He's defending brilliantly, but there's nothing you can do against Mr. IFR Jensen. He's going to go sailing around the outside, I imagine, but Baraka's using all his ERS here. He's hanging on for dear life. Jensen, he's going to keep his foot to the floor through Blanchemont. And he's going to go 3 wides! Oh! And Petter's now, it's going to be, I think, in seconds. He's a bit annoyed with his teammate for not letting him by, and it's like NASCAR. Everyone's going side by side. It could be 4 wide into turn 1.
2x2 Noah's Ark, certainly, as we have the Aston Martin of Lou up to third. Black Box is getting absolutely soldiered here by David and Baraka just in behind, and David's going to try and get the move done down towards the Rouge and Rallion. It's not going to be quite close enough, but we're on lap 19 out of 22. Welcome to the Wacky Racers, as now David is right on the back of Black Box, running down in towards Lecon once again, and Black Box actually has got the run on Lou, and Lou might be in trouble here as Black Box will try and go around the outside line, but we stay in position for now. Lou stays in third, Black Box fourth, and David in fifth, and that was like the Wacky Racers.
David is the only, I think, F2 driver running in his field of Bull Boys there.
Oh, and
but he's going to try and go down inside of Black Box. He's putting on a brilliant display here for fifth. If he can get fourth, it will be an absolute miracle in this field with the calibre of drivers. Oh, he's going to be really licking his lips down inside of Poo on, as Petter gets a penalty, which means Jensen has a 1.5 second buffer to his nearest competitor. That is Lou, and Lou's once again going to try and fight for the lead here.
Black Box has got a train developing behind him, it seems, as well. David, Baraka, T-Hawk, Ballboy, all within possible range to try and get Black Box before the end of the race, but it's Jensen leading the way, Petter in second, Lou in third, Black Box in fourth, and now David right on the back of Black Box, and yeah, T-Hawk right on the back of Baraka as well. I think we're going to have to go on board with T-Hawk because we get a view of both overtakes as David looks to the inside line. That's late on the brakes from David. T-Hawk doesn't try it on Baraka, and David tries to go all the way around the outside line. Baraka is coming into the pit lane. Baraka is into the pits, and David is through on Black Box. He's through and he's into fourth, but Black Box is not giving this up without a fight. Looks the outside line, but David is through and he's into fourth position. The top three, pretty much the old guard showing the way, I would say. Jensen, Petter, Lou, top three at the minute. T-Hawk right on the back of Black Box.
I tell you what, there's nothing like the old guard with T-Hawk and David looking for fourth and fifth. These two are outperforming massively against the likes of Rocco,
three
Baraka,
wide,
Zara as well, as they're going to go and try and get three wide. David doesn't have DRS, and T-Hawk now is going to try and nip down the inside, and he loses it. And that means David's going to retake fifth, as Black Box has somehow managed to get back into fourth.
And our Ballboy's all over the back of T-Hawk as well. Nikita Mazepin, however you like to call him, with no helmet. He shouldn't be out on track, given that he hasn't got a helmet on. But Ballboy right on the back of T-Hawk, and this could get quite interesting between them both.
Well, Rocco. There's a five-way fight here, I think, for P4. If Black Box can keep on holding on here, with a bit of luck maybe up front with one of the drivers spinning or something, he could be in with a shot of a podium, which is crazy to think when he's on 10 lap old tyres compared to the rest, but he could get a puncture, so don't write that off the scripts.
Yeah, he could get a puncture indeed. We've got 2 more laps to go after this one, and Jensen leading the way from Petter second, Lou in third, Black Box in fourth, David in fifth, and David is going to try and look. You can see the DRS was the ERS, I should say, was briefly on. Rocco, however, is looking for a move on Ballboy, and these two go quite a way back as the no-helmeted man of Ballboy gets overtaken by Rocco down into the bus stop chicane, and Rocco is through and he's into seventh. Nathan, by the way, said Rocco will be on for the win. I don't think he is now, but he's through on Ballboy nonetheless.
You know, at least he's cheering on his mate, as David, he's made a move on Black Box around the outside. They do make bang wheels like in the last lap where David tried to stick around the outside. But the thing is, Black Box, he's played the long game here. He's going to have DRS down the Kemmel straight here. David's going to get absolutely swallowed up here for fifth.
Look at Rocco. Rocco's going to get the ball maybe here.
And Ballboy, the man with no helmet, he's lurking in the background.
It's 3 wide, Black Box. And now Rocco's going to try and side his way through the middle of them both. Can he try and get the move done on T-Hawk? He's certainly side by side with him. Black Box stays in fourth. And Rocco's through. David tries to go around the outside of T-Hawk as well. Oh, very, very close to contact. What a move that is, though, for like David. And T-Hawk's going to try and fight that, but David is showing really, really good racecraft. And I've got to say, all of these guys are showing really, really good racecraft. Black Box, however, somehow is still in fourth. And now he has got the biggest task of them all, trying to fend off Rocco before the line.
I'll tell you what, Petter, he got overtaken by Lou here. Lou's going to absolutely have to send it to try and get back in the DRS of Jensen. He's got 1 lap. I think Lou should really go hell for leather. He's got more ERS than Jensen, so it's all up to Lou whether he wants to send this and try and go for the win.
Oh, I'll tell you what, if you're not sweating like me, then you don't know what you've been missing. Jensen leads the way from Lou in second, Petter in third. We're nearly onto the final lap. Black Box in fourth. But where is Rocco going to try and get this move done? Where is T-Hawk going to get this move done? Yeah, he's on the outside. in toward Blanchimont on David. There's a little bit of contact between them both, a little bit of lag, I think, from David's perspective. But T-Hawk on the outside line, David on the inside line. T-Hawk is through and he's into 6th. Really good move that. And Ballboy now joins in on the fray as well. 5-way battle for 4th position, commencing onto the final lap. And Black Box, in fact, has been overtaken by Rocco. And T-Hawk's coming steaming in down the inside line. Tries to get the move done. Does he get the move done on Black Box? Yes, he does, and Black Box runs out wide. And I think he's going to let David go.
He wanted to get DRS there, but T-Hawk's going to get DRS on Rocco. This could be absolutely massive for T-Hawk, but the problem with him is Rocco's got over 40%. Well, that's going to get depleted massively, but T-Hawk, the German, he's going to try and go on a charge here towards Rocco. Is it inside or outside for T-Hawk? It's down the inside of Rocco. 4P4. Brilliant move.
And Black Box is trying to stick his nose in there on David as well, and Rocco's going to try to sail it all the way around the outside of T-Hawk. I tell you what, this is brilliant action between the both here in FRL social race, but Rocco tries to go around the outside line, David on the inside line, yeah, and the McLaren doesn't get the move done. They've got to wait, I think, on the run up towards Blanchimont. Rocco unlucky with a 3-second penalty being picked up. Lou also picked up a 3-second penalty, but goodness me, I'm spilling my drink everywhere, I don't care. Jensen leading the way, Lou in 2nd, Petra in 3rd. Jensen's kept it clean. Here's David down the inside line on Rocco. Not quite.
Look at Lou though. Lou is going to try and get as close, but I don't think he can. But
no.
Petra as well, he's going to not be close enough to Lou. I think the closest battle you're going to see is David's with Rocco. They both got a lot of ERS though, and I think this could be the order. Ballboy hits Black Box. Oh, and it's the two.
And here's Jensen. Here's Jensen coming around the final corner to take the win. Jensen around the final corner, he'll be happy with that. Spins across the line and wins here in Belgium. Lou is in 2nd, a massive crash. Coming across the line, Petra in 3rd, and Rocco and T-Hawk are fighting side by side to the line. It could be neck and neck. Rocco just gets it. T-Hawk though gets him on penalties. David in 5th. If Rocco didn't pick up that 3-second penalty, what would have been? What a race. Ballboy in 7th. Black Box spun with right side end plate damage. He finishes in 8th, crashes into the back of T-Hawk's Mercedes, and Baraka comes across the line to finish in 9th position and nearly joins the levy of cars that are now filling up the pit straight. But there we are. What a race. Driver of the day is awarded by the in-game fans is who else? The no helmet Ballboy 57.
Tell you what, Ballboy was hanging in there, and I think he showed some good pace, and I think you have to give props to Ballboy there. He managed to stick it out with some of the big boys, but all the drivers who finished the race, apart from I think maybe Dark Tuner, there was a drive there, I think he might get got left behind. They should all be proud of themselves. The racing they put on was absolutely just brilliant.
That was dramatic, as Nathan has just said in Discord. It was indeed, and I tell you what, if that is a sign of things to come in F1 and F2, next season, well, this season coming up, you'll be in for a right old treat. That's just a social race. We've got pre-season, and we've still got the first round of the championship to come in 3 weeks' time, but it's Jensen out on top. He wins out on track. He's looking quite mischievous there with his profile, but Jensen's out on top. Lou in 2nd with Petter in 3rd. If they didn't pick up 3-second time penalties, it would have been closer than that. T-Hawk in 4th, but David in 5th. In the end, only 0.4 of a second separating T-Hawk and David. Rocco obviously with the penalty down in 6th. Ballboy 19th on the grid. Nikita Mazepin style, not up to 7th, however, though, in terms of Nikita Mazepin. He finishes 7th, though, does Ballboy. Black Box in 8th, Baraka in 9th. They're the only finishers. Dark Tuner, Ahern, Parrot, Yona, Henny, Lukey Boy, Zero, Nathan, Speldano, and Macho not finishing out on track. Macho didn't even make it through the first lap. But it's Jensen out on top. He might have a new name, but it's same old, same old.
It certainly is. I think we should probably actually go into the F1 interviews to invite, I think, all the drivers. I'll add T-Hawk, I think, to that chat, as I'd be fascinated to know what all the drivers thought of that brilliant battle. I mean, Rocco carving his way through. He was last 3 laps from the end, and he managed to pass Ballboy and then managed to somehow fight his way for 6th, but a penalty just undermined that. But the racing has been absolutely sublime there from all of the ones who finished.
I've got a very, very sweaty brow now, I've got to be honest. As Jensen has just friend requested me, I'll add him in just a second. I'm sure we'll have that. Felix, by the way, saying good to have James back as a commentator for FRL. Yeah, totally. I'm really thrilled to be back here as part of the FRL family. I hope you haven't missed me too much. and I hope that was a commentary to the highest order, and hopefully really, really good racing. And T-Hawk said in the comment section as well, that didn't do my heart rate any favours. Didn't do ours either.
No, it's constant action. David as well. I think he'd get my driver of the day. Maybe T-Hawk. I would both give them driver of the day. They absolutely outperformed their cars, and I think T-Hawk is trying to put a statement to be an F1 reserve rather than F2, because he can't make some of the races next season. And I definitely think with performance like that, he should be an F1 reserve. It was really good racing from T-Hawk, wheel to wheel, and just general pace in qualifying. He showed it all.
Oh, just remember as well, he actually beat Macho. Macho didn't even make it through a lap, so he's already got one over on his old rival from last season.
Yeah, I think he'd be wanting that to be the last race of last season, and he would have won the championship. But you know, it's not meant to be with T-Hawk. Sometimes he does get unlucky, but you know, it'd be great to hear them in the F1 post-race interviews, which is the new chat, which I think you're in.
I hope I'm in.
We can join. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay.
I am.
So
right. I'll see you there as well. I need to find the party first. Give me a second. I'll just go blue screen for a second, so if you don't see me on anything, I need to find the party. Give me a second. I need to work my way around this game still, honestly. But we should join the interviews now, and hopefully quite a few interviews are going to be had as well. And we have already got our man who finished in P1. As I join the party just like that, we have a look at the man who finished in P1, of course. It was IFR Jensen. And Jensen, you might have a new name and a new esports team, but it's same old in FRL.
Yes.
Oh, come on now. There might be your party settings, possibly.
Oh, you're on a new account, innit? You want to change.
Oh, how nice. How nice it must be to be on a PS5.
Big flex.
Can they hear me now?
I hope they can. I'm going to check the stream, and I'll make sure you're being heard.
I'll put it on allow.
Give them a
I
minute.
think we could redo that.
Right. I'll just hear if you're coming through.
Get the script
Yeah,
back out.
you're coming back. You're coming through on the stream,
Okay.
which is fantastic. Oh, Jensen, talk us through that race. It was same old from you in FRL.
Yeah, like I said, probably, of course, the stream didn't hear me, but quite a shithoused race for me, spin under the safety car, invalidating a pole lap, losing 4 positions from that, turn 1 damage on the first few laps, but, I mean, after that, it was just trying to get through people, and when I saw I think it was the second safety car, managed to jump a load of positions, and yeah, I was running P4 for most of that stint. I was hoping to try and get past Black Box, but he put the car in the right places. I was getting pretty annoyed with that because we were losing a bit of time, but in the end, he stayed out on the final safety car. I waited, so I saw someone crash, so I waited just in case if the safety car didn't come out in front of if the safety car came out in front of the guys ahead of me, and I waited, and there's a safety car, so hit it for the softs. And yeah, the rest is history.
The rest is indeed history, and obviously you mentioned that black box obviously stayed out on that set of mediums. Did you feel, going on to that, I think it was the 4th or 5th last lap, that you would actually get them easier than what you did?
I mean, I saw them both battling with. I saw Black Box and Petterville battling along already. I knew Petterville, of course, he was on the soft tyres. He wanted to get through, and I saw them side by side coming into the long hairpin, and yeah, I was literally directly behind them both. Tried looking for a gap, couldn't find one, and went side by side through, almost through Pullen with Petter as well, which was a bit scary because he came out of the corner a little bit sideways beforehand. But I got him on the exit of that, and really good run on Black Box, and of course gripping the tyres, knew I was gonna get it, so yeah, pretty happy. But
yeah, and I'm not going to put any pressure on you by saying this statement, but you are the defending FRL champion coming into this season. Going into pre-season next week in Bahrain and then the week after in Spain, how do you think you're going to get on?
Bahrain, I've struggled with, really, of course, running the assists is tricky around Bahrain. But, I mean, I'm going to give it some practice. Of course, it's going to be the first race of the season as well, so I'll need a lot of practice to get a good start there. And Spain, I've absolutely got no issue with Spain. I've got no like future problems I think that I have, because yeah, I feel that's probably my strongest track on this game so far, so yeah, I mean, gotta wait and see, I guess.
You never hear somebody saying Spain is their strongest track on this game, honestly. But we are still quite early on in the game cycle as well. But thank you very much, Jensen. And I believe it's T-Hawk next, Bunty.
It certainly is. And, well, T-Hawk, first of all, massive congratulations. A really good, strong drive after starting P7 in qualifying. Starting with qualifying, do you think possibly you could have found any more time? Because it was really tight towards the front of the field. And all the small margins meant maybe you could have just been in that top 5 if you gained a few tenths.
I know, I think the car ahead of me was like 3 tenths faster on the 141.2 or something like that. I mean, in time trial my best time was a 141.1, so it could have been there. But then again, I was on used tires, you know, it was the second lap on those tires and the lap still wasn't perfect. So there probably could have been a bit more in my lap, but still P7 starting P7 on such a fast grid was way above my expectations.
Yeah, definitely, and you did get your elbows out in the race, which was good to see. And at the start you did drop a few positions, but lap 6, I think you might have pitted. Do you know, can you remember if that was maybe an incident or hitting a wall in particular?
I remember, I don't even know if it was lap 6, I think even earlier, like already on lap 2 I pitted because there was this battle going on ahead of me between, I think, one of the Ferraris, Jensen and someone else, and they all just bunched up in the first corner and I got wing damage. So that was the first of my many pit stops. I think I did like 4 or 5 pit stops overall in that race. But yeah, I can't remember which pit stops I did because of damage or which ones because of the safety car. I think lap 6 there was another safety car and I think I just tried to go for mediums and go long because I knew that they can make it just about. And I was just hoping that that way I can get back into the race.
And you did suffer one DNF last season, which was of course at Belgium. Do you think when you were on lap 18 and P8 and having to navigate your way through the likes of David and Bullboy, who I think you did get past, would you say that kind of trying to get avenge from that DNF you did get last season was at the back of your head, or have you completely forgot about that?
If you wouldn't have mentioned it right now, I wouldn't have a single word about it. I mean, last season was last season, you know, today was entirely different. Today I was nowhere close to my teammate, so there was no threat of me bouncing off my teammate again. But Nah, I mean, I think I was just way too busy trying not to crash with like 4 or 5 cars battling around before the final few laps. I didn't have time to think about last season or anything like that.
And you were in quite a few close quarter battles, but just last question before you can go off for your evening. Do you think possibly you were on par pace with the F1 guys? Because obviously you are in between like many drivers, F1 and F2. Do you think this maybe is your true pace in F1 possibly?
I mean, I didn't quite remember which of the guys that I was battling were in F1 and which ones weren't. I know that Rocco is in F1. I don't think David is. And I think Blackbox is in F1, if I remember correctly. I mean, I'm the league owner, I'm supposed to know that. I don't know. I didn't do the tiers. So, I think if I get a bit more comfortable with the cars and with the game, then I could definitely be in F1. And if like the top 7-8 positions are equal to the pace that I saw today, then I guess there are some good opportunities for me to, if I end up in F1, to score some really good consistent points if I manage to iron out those few kinks that I still have with this game.
Yeah, and obviously congratulations on a strong finish. It is only a social race, but you put yourself in good stead for no matter what tier you're in next season, so enjoy your evening, which you should after a good result.
Thanks, and thank you for commentary, as always.
No problem.
I believe it's Rocco next, if I'm not mistaken. And Rocco, unlucky, I think, in terms of your race. Very, very unlucky. Talk us through what happened there out on track.
Quite a lot. I can't remember it all. I think I had like 4 or 5 pit stops. I just pit every safety car. I just thought, yeah, let's come in and try and be on the right tyre at the right time. Which I think worked out in the end. But a bit of contact with Baraka and then sent me to the back. But yeah, it's quite fun last few laps catching up and fighting back through most of them.
Yeah, it was fun.
So.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. I mean, it is a social race, but it just comes to show that your pace is there as well. Talk us through the safety cars as well, because that must have been quite infuriating to have, what, 3 safety cars come out on you.
I enjoyed it because every time I was in a bad position, so they saved me every time. But I think the first one, I was like on hards after the first one, and I got rear wing damage in the middle sector. I spun, so I had that for the rest of the race, but I didn't really feel much of an impact. So I don't know if it was too bad.
Well, not much of an impact felt, but it certainly affected your position. I mean, you fell behind, I think it was Black Box in the end. But just coming on to what Bahrain and Spain and the next 2 weeks for the pre-season, how do you adapt what your performance has been tonight in the social race, and how do you go about next week in Bahrain?
I think in Bahrain I've got better race pace on this game rather than quali pace, because I've turned ABS off this game. So over one lap I'm not as good, I don't think. Probably lacking a couple temps, but when it gets to actually race conditions, I feel like I'm more consistent this time. So hopefully I can aim for some podiums, maybe at least top 5s.
Yeah, top 5 should be on, I'm sure, within pre-season, and hopefully you get a better run of things in Bahrain than you did tonight in Belgium. But go and enjoy Evening.
Thank you, appreciate the comms.
And Bunty, who's next?
I think Festival, if he's here. Well, qualifying looked really promising for you to get your first unofficial pole in FRL. You out-qualified Lou by 2 thousandths, and you must have been pretty happy with that until your fellow teammate Blackbox took it away from you by 8 hundredths. How do you feel your overall pace was on the 1 lap side of things? Because you look really competitive. Yeah, and your confidence grew more and more during the race. On lap 1, if you can remember, with Black Box in just ahead of you, I think, getting after you took pole. Into, I think it was Laycom, you managed to send it round the outside of Black Box, which was a pretty stunning move. Do you think these sorts of moves and the wheel-to-wheel racing we're doing, especially to the towards the end with Low, will do your confidence good for next season in F1 with a lot of drivers being pretty close on a level playing field? And towards the end of the race, you were leading for most of it, but just for the safety car, you pitted just at the right moment, which meant I think you came out ahead of Jensen with Black Box ahead of you. Did you think maybe Black Box would have got out of the way a little bit faster than he did, and possibly you could have pulled away from Jensen, or do you think that was just inevitable? Well, last season you were very consistently fast within that kind of top 5 pack of F1, and you led the most laps out of anyone. So, do you think overall after this race, your hopes are a little bit higher probably for next season, or do you think maybe with a few mistakes you did make, possibly you're a little bit more scared of some drivers' pace, like some Baccarat? Well done on P2. I think it was P2, if I'm not mistaken. P3 Aquaslu, obviously, but obviously you were joint best, I think, result, or was it second? I think you got last season. Well, best of luck next season for another few podiums. I think you definitely have the potential to get it, and hopefully you become better adapted towards the game. As Mr. James, I think it's the man with no helmet who's next on the interviews.
The man with no helmet on our end. The man who's paid $1 million to rob Nikita Mazepin of a seat, I think, tonight. It is Mr. FRL Bullboy 57. And Bullboy, obviously, you were quite lucky getting towards the end of the race with all the DNFs that happened. Talk us through your race, though.
Yeah, I wasn't really planning to race today. I only saw the invite quite late, so yeah, luckily I got in the session, but of course that did appear to mess up my ERS and my helmet as well, so I don't know if you noticed, but I couldn't really, I mean, my ERS was deployed, but I couldn't undeploy, if you know what I mean, so it was just stuck on the whole race, which was a bit frustrating, but I mean, yeah, I just I didn't really go for any moves today. I just my pace wasn't really there, and I know I was catching and closing on people, but they were just battling like crazy, and like you said, the positions gained, or that I gained, were mainly due to crashes and not really due to pace and overtakes.
Yeah, I think honestly, in terms of the spinners as well, we had quite a few spinners out on track, but just talk us through in terms of the safety cars and everything, and in terms of the ERS, because we were laughing in commentary, I'll be honest now, we were laughing in commentary, seeing the no helmet and seeing the ERS, and I honestly thought that you might have just had like automatic ERS on, but it was a definite glitch.
Oh yeah, no, I tried to change it, like, I went and paused the game during the safety car periods and that, and there was no option to change any of my assists. So, yeah, I mean, I couldn't really do anything else, unfortunately.
That's why I left the 2 times, because I had that issue as well, Bullboy.
That's a shame,
Right,
I'm sure.
so...
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be noted by the stewards, obviously, as we look into getting the settings fine-tuned for pre-season next week. But in terms of pre-season going forward, no matter what tier you're going to be in, Ballboy, how do you think you're going to get on?
Well, not considering the opposition, I'll be very consistent as always, as I am every season. So, yeah, like, I guess I'll just have to continue, like, that approach and pick up consistent points when others are making mistakes, and who knows what could happen this season. Hopefully it's much better than last season. I think it will definitely be better than like the last 2 seasons combined, so yeah, excited to see what happens, and yeah, on to pre-season, the official first pre-season race next week.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, I think, for everyone, no matter what tier you're going to be in. It's really going to be some cracking action out on track. Ballboy, go and enjoy your evening. We're now going to move on to a man who I've not interviewed in a while. So, Bunty, you're having this one.
Thank you very much. And, well, Nathan, you made your unofficial debut. And, I mean, we didn't see much of you, but what we did see of you, you seemed pretty pacey. So, in qualifying, you obviously did the one run right at the death to put yourself into P4. You think there was any more time in that? Because it was a pretty fast lap.
Yeah, obviously the race yeah, was a bit interesting. Yeah, qualifying obviously had a bit of connection issues, but as James knows, it would not be me if there wasn't connections issues. But yeah, obviously invalid the very first lap, and then when I rejoined, just went out on that same set of, well, the second set of tyres when I disconnected, and it was looking okay, but obviously they were a bit worn, so I came back on the pitch, and yeah, the final lap, there was definitely, I think, a bit of time in the third sector, but I think I was running a lot higher wings than everyone. I was just changing the set around, because I've been really struggling, just with cornering in general, so yeah, had to put a bit of downforce on the car, which, yeah, was probably not useful around Belgium, but it meant my Sector 2 was quite good, so yeah, it was good to see that the pace is still there, but I think just got a lot of learning to do before the actual start of the season.
Yeah, and we saw that setup. I think if you could have got it right, maybe you would have been in a race a bit longer. Obviously, massive snap through Rouge. And you only took part, I think, in 4 laps, but you were in 4th the whole time there. Do you feel possibly that's where you'll be next season? Because I know you know a few of the drivers from other leagues, and you were pretty competitive in those other leagues as well. Do you think that'll be kind of your home ground throughout the whole of next season?
Yeah, I hope so. I think like anyone maybe of like the top, I don't know, 10, maybe 12 of like F1 has like a really good chance. Obviously there was like Lars and Messina that wasn't here today. And you got a few people that were maybe a bit out of position because of crashing out on, I mean, I saw a few people crashing out on out laps, which I don't know why you're going on curbs on out laps, but yeah, obviously, yeah, there were a few people missing and a few people kind of out of position, so yeah, I think through the season we'll probably see a lot of people kind of be at the front, and maybe come the end of the season there'll be like a consistent few drivers that are obviously at the top, but yeah, hopefully somewhere around the top 5, but yeah, I think it's all just going to be about who can kind of get up to speed the best in the game.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, you will definitely be towards the point of the field, but it'd be interesting to know, is Belgium one of your stronger tracks historically?
Last game, yes. This game, it's an okay track. Obviously I've still got quite a bit of pace there, but it's not one that I think is kind of like a really good one for me. Like Bahrain, USA, they're kind of like really nice ones. But yeah, Belgium is kind of just a mid-range one, I say. It's not a worse, but at the same time it's not really one that's kind of at the top.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for you next week in pre-season at Bahrain, of course. I guess you'll be towards the point of the field, but thanks for racing as usual, especially on your debut, and best of luck next week.
Yeah, cool. Cheers for comments from both of you.
No problem.
And that is the end, I believe. I don't think we've got anybody else in the party with us, so we will bring it to an end here, of course, tonight. And thank you for everyone that has tuned into both the live streams for the F3 and F4 social race last night and F1, F2 social race tonight, of course. Hopefully, driving standards will be a lot better. Hopefully, as drivers grasp the game, we're going to be seeing more competitive battles and more cleaner racing out on track as we go forward in the next couple of weeks. Pre-season's still a bit of a learning curve, but hopefully we get to see the action that we deserve and that you guys deserve at home, of course, watching the action here in FRL. And to remind you what's going to be coming up this season, of course, we've got pre-season next week in Bahrain, F3 and F4 at 7 PM on a Monday, and F1 and F2, of course, on a Tuesday at 7 PM as well. Do not miss it. And remember, we're 3 subscribers away from 650, so please get us there. Otherwise, Ballboy's going to play Adventure Capitalist and hunt for his missing helmet.
And GTA as well.
And
GTA.
there's a GTA plug. We're ending it here. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you to Bunty, of course, for joining me alongside in the commentary box. And we'll see you guys, of course, next week for the racing in Bahrain. So until then, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.